Hey Bob, it's Bruce, Awesome Arcades. So I've got your email opened up here. I'm just gonna read through it, show you a couple of things, and then I'll upload this and send it over. So it says, hey Bruce, I'm gonna be buying an arcade for the grandkids. I'm probably looking at the middle classic machine. If I don't want the end panels in blue, can I wrap them? And could that wrap peel off over time? So yeah, this is what the control panels, obviously stock control panels, look like. When somebody wants me to change those, I just remove them and then I get material. This is called automotive vinyl. I get it from a company called R Vinyl or Vivid Vinyl. It's actually designed to go on cars and, you know, all the rigors of being outdoors, sun, wind. And so in my experience, this stuff's been super durable. I've been using it for 6 years. But more importantly, if you see kind of how I apply it, we actually take it and we kind of stretch wrap it over the sides so it can't really peel off or bubble. You know, once it's on there for good. This is the black carbon fiber. If you're curious, this is my personal favorite. It's a newer material. It's pretty thick and durable. It's called Indestructible. It's almost textured, kind of like the running boards of a pickup truck. So when you step up into it, it doesn't slip. This is a new one that I just got called, obviously, Camouflage, but you know, there's a ton of them. I've done a little bit of everything. If you click on the Google business link on the top of my website, you'll be able to see pictures of all the different stuff that I've done over the years. Let's see. You had a question about the monitor. So first I will just say this. If you have grandkids, I would strongly encourage you to consider this type of machine. And it sounds like you're already kind of interested in the ability to turn the monitor so that you could play the landscape games. So let me just give you an example. This is my classic cocktail table that is sitting here. So this game is only designed to be able to play classic 80s games where one person can play at a time, like Pac-Man. I play, and then the screen flips for the opposing side. There's a joystick over there, and then we alternate turns and go back and forth. If you wanted this game to be able to play side-scroll games like Super Mario Brothers, basically, so right now this is a monitor that is installed sideways. So if you tried to play a movie on this monitor, it would appear this way. If you wanted to play most arcade games released after like 1985, they require a monitor that is installed in a landscape orientation. And in fact, that's kind of what this machine does here. So this machine is on this axis. It's got the joystick on the north and south side, just like that guy. But in addition, it's got a panel over here that allows the monitor, if you push the button, to flip from the vertical axis over here to the horizontal axis. Now, here's what this machine can do and you know, this is the standard classic. The deluxe classic is just a bigger version of that, but it does the exact same thing. It plays the same two game boards, which you referenced in your email, which I'll talk about, the 60 board and the 412 board. Here's what this one can do. So first of all, it has all the same games. It has all those 412 games that you'd get with that. In addition, it has 2,500 games that you play over here. But what this one does is it allows the kids to play at the same time. So they don't have to take turns. Over there, only one kid is playing and everyone else is watching. Over here, they can do that too on this side. But when they're playing on this side, they could actually play with up to 4 people playing at the same time. So I've got 3 kids and they like to play games like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where you could actually have 4 people playing at the same time together. So there's like a common quest and they're attacking the bad guys, but they're all moving through the world at the same time with the same objective. Or they can play against each other, like baseball, where I pitch, you hit, but we're playing simultaneously. So I would say that's the primary difference. But in addition, here's what this machine can do that those others can't. Number one, it saves your high scores. It's the only game board that does. The technology, the software for this cabinet right here, came out in 2022. So it's a lot more modern. The game cards for this one, the 60 game card and the 412 game card, the 60 game card came out in 2009. And the 412 game card, I believe, came out in 2011. So they're the same classic 80s games, but in terms of the functions or the features, it's pretty dated. For example, on this one, you can search for games alphabetically. So if you just press the start button, you can see your recently played games. You can search for games alphabetically. It gives you subcategories, kind of by genre, so you don't have to search through 3,000 games. In addition, you can create a favorites list. If you go into the settings, you can put a star next to any particular title that you're interested in, and those games will show up first when you turn the machine off and turn it back on. It's got a list of all the 3 and 4 player games. So on this machine, you can actually plug in external PlayStation controllers. And when you're sitting on this side of the cabinet, you could play player 1 and player 2 on the arcade, and then player 3 and player 4 could be standing off to the sides using the external PlayStation controllers. That's how you would be able to play with 4 people at the same time. Or you could use the PlayStation controllers in lieu of the joysticks. You could map it so that player 1 is an external wireless controller, so you could sit a few feet away from the cabinet. The benefit of being able to use PlayStation controllers are that in addition to this machine has 3,000 games. So it's basically like 500 here, 2,500 here. But in addition, you can actually download for free unlimited games. So you can go on the internet and download. Now, it's not connected to the internet. Basically, the game card in the cabinet, it has a USB port on the back. So you can see that little port right there that I'm pointing at. So you can actually just put a USB stick into your computer if you want. You don't have to. And you can download games from Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, Sega Genesis, and a bunch of other consoles, and they're free. And so just an example I give people, there's an arcade game called Punch-Out, which was very popular, but Nintendo released Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, which is actually one of the most popular arcade games ever made. In addition, you can download Ninja Turtles had a version for Nintendo and a bunch of other games that you could get. But those games, some of the PlayStation games, for example, like Grand Theft Auto or Tomb Raider, are easier to play with the PlayStation paddle because they were designed to be played on a PlayStation. But on this particular cabinet, so if you wanted to rotate the monitor, the cabinets are not set up to be able to do that anymore. What I used to have to do, because the monitor is a rectangle, under the lid, and I think I covered this in the video, but I actually used to cut the cabinet lid and notch it out so that you could rotate the monitor. So few people were interested in that, I stopped doing it. One of the primary reasons is there's a bezel, this black thing that goes around the monitor. Because this is a rectangle, if you're going to turn that, you have to get a different custom-made bezel. And finding a company to do that is kind of a pain in the butt. Also, people just wanted this one. It's instead of doing all the modifications to that, and the price point is not that different to upgrade to this guy. But a long way of answering your question with regard to turning the monitor, I need to fix that video because that's not a feature that we offer anymore. So on the deluxe version of this cabinet, the monitor is only going to be able to play in the vertical orientation, or this setup. That's what you're seeing here. All right, let me get your email up here. I like the adjustable stool. Let's see. I don't want the end panels blue. Okay. On the option to turn the monitor sideways, do you pre-drill the holes? I answered that, I believe. Let me know if not. I like the adjustable stools, but not in chrome. Are they available in black? They are not, sorry. On the JAMA board, I read that the video quality is better than the one with 60 games as opposed to the 412. That is not true. I mean, the video quality it's I think 420. I could go on ChatGPT and they would tell me the exact. But what I can tell you is both the 60 game board, the 412 board, and this game board, which is called the Pandora, they all have the original versions of the games. They're going to look and sound exactly as they did on the original release. The limiting factor is not the monitor. It is the arcade games. I think it's 480p. Monitors are 720, 1080, 4K. But the source code that you're getting, because they're only 80s games, is 480. And so the only difference would be if you were to get a cathode ray tube monitor, the display would look differently. And actually, the Pandora board here has a setting in the setup where you could make the display look like a CRT. I don't know why people like it. It just, to me, makes it looks a lot more grainy and pixelated, but it is technically authentic. But if you're curious on this Pandora board, if you ever wanted to get into the settings, there's just a little button on the back of the board, that little black button. And once you push that in the settings, you come down here to system configuration. This is how you put it on like free play. This is how you can map the orientation of the control panels. If you come down here to game setting, this is where you set up a favorites list. You can deactivate games. It doesn't delete them, it just turns them off. You can increase or decrease the difficulty and number of lives on some games. But Yeah, in terms of the price, so this is the 32-inch version of this cabinet. I also have a 26-inch version. The 26-inch I'm talking about is just the monitor. So basically the 26-inch version is just 7 inches shorter. Everything else is going to be the same. If you're interested, I could give you like an out-the-door price quote for this guy and kind of vis-a-vis the deluxe. If you're curious, this is a standard classic with the 19-inch. But if you wanted to give me if you wanted me to give you a price point for the deluxe, I would just need to find out the zip code. It looks like you're in Maryland. There are some places on the East Coast that require additional shipping costs. I have a flat rate on the website, but it only covers like 90% of the country. But what it tells you is that if you live in the Northeast, sometimes it can cost more. Not always. It just depends on however the algorithm works for the shipping company and their rates. But I would need to check it. I would just need your zip code. Okay, I think I've answered all your questions. Yeah, with regard to black stools, the only black stools that I've got are a bench stool like that, but it's an 18-inch. They're in those boxes over there. But it's going to be that style. And then I've got the chrome stools. The chrome stools are really nice. I know black might not be ideal, but they are definitely the most popular, and they are fancy. I just don't have any here with me, or I'd show you them. Okay, let me know if you have any other questions, and we'll take it from there. Thanks.